Worse than that, though, worse than that with Westbrook and his flop warning is the fact that, it was so great. Joey Crawford called it. That's a good way to get started with Lon Kruger. Lon, who's the NBA ref that you just kind of went, oh, geez, this guy? Come on, name him. Who was it?
I'm not sure exactly.
Come on, name him.
There's probably a few, but I do know that they're the best in the world. There's no question about that. But they'll screw it up once in a while too. They'll screw it up once in a while too. Yeah, Joey's call on Paul the other night was not one he's probably proud of.
There we go. We got that's about as best as we can get old Lon to toe the line. I like it. Lon Kruger joins us on Little Caesars Hot and Ready Hotline. And excuse the delay. I'm in Kansas City as well, but we've got a delay on the connection here. So excuse me if it takes a little while to get back to you.
All right.
Is it fair for me to say on air, because I have been, that if I were to oversimplify the OU game plan last night in particular on defense, it was, hey, you guys will not let Phil Forte score, period. I don't care what else happens. Is that accurate?
The focus on combination of Forte, as it has been all year, and then you add Hickey to that, because Hickey's been shooting the ball for 65% from three in the last few ball games. So we really wanted to not let Hickey, not let Forte have looks from three, and yet realizing that creates more opportunities for Nash, and he's a terrific player, and he did hurt us, but we didn't give him the three though.
What do you think happened at halftime? What adjustments you made? Obviously, I mean, there was something different about your team in the second half. What was it?
Like our guys' attitude at halftime. Disappointed with our energy in the first half. They were disappointed. Came out with much more energy, picked up full court pressure, created some offense from that. Thought we attacked better offensively in the second half. The game is still, like you say, it's pretty simple in terms of making plays and making shots and winning battles. And I thought we did a much better job of all those things in the second half.
Lon Kruger with us on 107.7 The Franchise. His Sooners here in about 12 hours take on a little less, take on Iowa State in the Big 12 tournament semifinals from here in Kansas City. I was talking to John Shin a little earlier. He was on the line with us, and we hung out at the game last night. We were talking a lot about this as well, is that your teams historically, I mean, you don't last as long as you do, Lon, unless you can get guys to coexist, get guys to buy in, get guys to have good chemistry. And I asked this question of coaches I admire and respect a lot because I want to pick their brain, and I'll ask you the same thing. What comes first, winning or chemistry?
That's a good question. Oftentimes when you get the results you want, everything else seems to work. The coach made the right call, the player made the right decision, the guys feel good about each other, the chemistry is great. So oftentimes, the chemistry helps, but getting the winning results, having that winning culture, kind of allows you to build everything else that needs to be supportive of that result. So I think the winning always helps the culture for sure.
And so how do you think you are able to do it when you go to a new program, to kind of get those first couple of real signature wins under your belt? Because the belief has to be a blind faith, right, at that point for most of those guys?
It is. I think it always starts with relationships, spending time, communicating, showing that you're genuine in your interest in helping each of the individuals do as well as they can, have a great experience, play as well as they can. And, of course, the way you do that is spend time. And we talk to our guys a lot. I think we ask them a lot of questions. We get them to hopefully take ownership of their program and then do it together. But so it's kind of like you say, a chicken and egg thing. The winning, the chemistry, it really goes hand in hand. But like you say, when you take over a new program, you don't have that winning culture oftentimes, and you have to earn earn the trust, if you will, and you do that by spending time and showing them that you're genuinely interested.
Coach Kruger, how does the game change in college basketball when you get to March? Not just in how it's played, but how it's called, the atmosphere. What difference does March make with college basketball and how it's played out on the court?
But teams are more familiar with each other, especially in the conference tournament. So that makes each possession a little bit more of a grind. Defenses have a little bit of an advantage, perhaps. I think generally we get into the tournament. I don't think anyone knows how we're, as far as officiating goes. We're all over the board this year. Last year we tried to take a step in the right direction. This year, the officials themselves say we don't know what you want to be called, what you want us to call. So we're just, I think, almost back to, just a new starting point with officiating, and hopefully there'll be a lot of discussion about that. And it's not the officials' fault necessarily. It's we just haven't. We've gone all over the place with regard to what we want called, and I say we, not even knowing who we is, because someone's got to give them direction as to freedom of movement. Is that the priority? Is it going back to the hand fighting and the scrum on the post? I mean, it's gone back to what it was 2 years ago, and I don't think anyone wants that. But how do we change it again? And we had it start last year, but we got to get back to that.
What should be the priority?
Freedom of movement. We got to let these guys play. We got to let we got to be concerned about the interest that fans take in the ball game. They want to see 80, 70 scores. They want they don't want to see 50, 45. Players don't want to play in 50, 45 games. You got to let these guys move. The NBA did it a few years ago, and the popularity of their game soared. And if we're not careful as a game in college, people they can do other things with their time. If our game is not as exciting as it could be, and it's exciting because players can go make plays, but if you don't allow that with all the hands and all the fighting, then it's going to be less interesting.
Lon Kruger with us here on 107.7 The Franchise. Jordan Woodard, 0 turnovers the last 3 games. How important is that for you guys moving forward?
Wow.
That's really important. And Jordan's doing a good job taking care of the ball and being more aggressive and getting to the free throw line and knocking down free throws. Taking valuing possessions is huge, especially in postseason. You got to get a good shot each time down.
Lon Kruger with us. I asked you this last night, but I'm wondering if you can, now that we're in a little bit of a different setting, I guess, and thank you for coming on with us on what is a busy day, which will set up my question. If you would tell us and tell our listeners kind of what this 24-hour turnaround is like compared to, even the grueling, the grind of a Saturday, Monday turnaround, which is obviously very common in the Big 12. This one is less than that. How late were you up last night? I want to know how much film, all that stuff. This morning you wake up after X number of hours of sleep. What happened this morning before you called me? I'm interested in all that, and I think some of our listeners would be too. Can you break that down a little bit?
Well, coaches in all conference tournaments pretty much under the same schedule. After the ball game last night, we came back and watched the possessions of our Oklahoma State game. Then we watched the possessions of our last game with Iowa State. So that didn't leave with 3 or 4 hours of sleep, I guess. But that's normal everywhere. And then we get up this morning and have breakfast with our players, and then we'll watch film with them here in a little bit, edit tape, about 20 minutes of our game last night, plus the last time we played Iowa State. Then go to shoot around here at 11:30 and get back here about 12:30. Had the pregame meal at 4 o'clock, and watch a little more film with the players prior to that. And so it's a long day, it's a full day, but we try to fill it and keep the players off their feet as much as possible.
All right, last one I got for you. Give me an example, a concrete example of Lon Kruger being nervous.
I'm sorry, being what?
Being nervous.
Oh, nervous. Well, still prior to games, you have that feeling of nervousness, of excitement, of anxiety, all those things. It's not being nervous as you would as a player because, it's not like
could I tell?
Make shots. No, I don't think you could tell. And hopefully, I think that's the key with the players. We want them knowing that we're very consistent. We're going to be thinking about the next possession, thinking about the next play, thinking about the next timeout. and not and we talk to our players all the time about the key to playing the next play, and don't let one play, whether it's a turnover or a call you don't agree with or anything that happens, don't let that affect the next play. I think our guys are doing a better job of that all the time.
All right. Todd, put it up on the Twitter account that Lon Kruger, while being nervous, also thinks that Joey Crawford is the worst NBA ref. See you later, Lon. I'm just kidding.
Hey,
See you later.
we never did
Thanks
ask him if he and
on.
Steve Henson could take us in the three-point shootout, Zach. We're going to have to make that happen after the season.
Yeah. In the off-season, three-point shootout, us two fatsos are going to beat you two in a three-point contest. That's we're calling it now.
Well, as long as I got Steve, I'll take my chances. If he's on our side.
That's funny, Coach. Zach's saying the same thing about me. As long as he's got me, he'll take his chances.
There you go.
Thanks,
Good
Coach.
luck, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.